Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. So today, as you can see, I prompted Bubbles, this is a beautiful background, to generate a spring meadow, mountains, fresh air, because we're going to do the top 5 spring fragrances for this year, the current year, right now, 2024, you guys. Boy, how time flies. It was just like yesterday I was doing my first seasonal fragrance kind of list, and now I don't know how many years in we are between my main channel and my perfume channel. It's always a lot of fun to contemplate seasonal fragrances, or in this case, I'm kind of switching it up a little bit. I've waited till the end of spring to make a list. Usually I'm kind of midway into a season, I make a list. Also to give people the time to also try these perfumes out during the season. But I wanted to wait till the end of, well, it's not the end of spring yet. We still have a couple of weeks to go. But I really wanted to wait as much as I could so that I get a vibe of a selection for perfumes from the beginning of spring of this year throughout the middle of spring and then late spring, like how the olfactive evolution happened for me this year. What's the vibe for me this year? So let's have a look at this beautiful background while I say subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week. Come join the fun. Come join the chats on my main superdacob channel. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. So the beginning of spring, mind you, depending if you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, we're talking about mostly the northern hemisphere here in my case, was very cold. So March felt like February to me. Also, this year, you know, I went to the hospital, I had to have surgery done. So all of that happened in March. So for a certain period of time, I wasn't using perfumes, but then I started using them again. And there's all the perfumes that I used right after the surgery, but that's not something that I want to associate spring with. So the first really spring fragrance I started utilizing after the surgery and after me getting reacquainted with perfumes, all that good stuff. So the first one that I kind of called my spring perfume in the early spring, what for me was early spring. Turns out for me, early spring came in April after I came back home from the hospital and all that stuff. So my first spring fragrance this year was New Look by Christian Dior. There's just something so gorgeous about this one. I know it's a hit or miss for many people. And yeah, what can I say? I don't know why some people don't like the heavy aldehydes in here. The overtly heavy clean sheets type of synthetic aldehydes in here, mixed in with musks and frankincense. I love the frankincense mixed in with the bombastic aldehydes. This thing is a sharp, crystalline, crisp air in the mountains somewhere in Europe, or this could be an imaginary Arizona, maybe. I don't know, but those mountains, they look kind of almost like they're not really European mountains, are they? I don't know what Bubbles was thinking when Bubbles generated this, but it's very much a crystalline spring, early cold spring morning in nature at the top of a mountain for me. And it lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts hours on end. You got to be very careful how you dose this. I was lucky to find a 40 ml. By the way, all the perfumes you're going to see today, I purchased them myself. I'm not sponsored by any brand. Thumb up the video if you're enjoying it thus far. I just love that almost spiritual experience of having that incense, the frankincense in here kicking in. And the 40 ml bottles are getting rarer and rarer to find, but they're really good for travel, you know, because Dior does 40 ml or 125 or 250. And 125 while you're flying is not good because they won't let you take it on board. You have to check it in because 100 ml is limit and I don't want to get it stolen. So 40 ml is great for travel. Plus this one, you just need a little bit of this because it's so intense and powerful. A lot of people that ended up not liking New Look ended up not liking it because they oversprayed it. And that's something you got to know how to tame this baby. I adore it. I adore it. And I use it often, but as you can see, not a lot has... There's not a big dent in this bottle because just one spritz is enough and you get the aura of the fragrance all day around you. Love this one 2 bits. And love it so much that I purchased a backup. Can you believe? Because I think to myself, you know what? Before they decide to reformulate it, before they decide to water it down, let me stock up on the tiny bottles because I've also heard rumors that they're going to switch up the sizes of the bottles apparently soon. I'm not so sure if that's true, but if it is true, we're not going to have the 40 mLs anymore. They're probably going to do like 75 mLs, 100 mLs, stuff like that. Let's see what Dior comes up with. So anyway, New Look is the beginning of spring for me. And then right after that, I went into rainy season and loved so much. So now we are into kind of late April, mid-late April, rain season. And I just love this one in the rain. Rive Gauche. Rive Gauche Eau de Toilette. Yes, even in its current formulation, I still love it. By the way, I have reviewed New Look on my perfume channel, so go check out the full video. It's a really interesting review, very esoteric in a way. But I've also reviewed Rive Gauche by Yves Saint Laurent on my Essence-tially Dacob perfume channel. Adore it. So this has also been one of my spring favorites this year. Again, aldehydes, late 60s, early 70s concoction, aldehydic. I call it an aldehydic floral chypre, even though they don't classify this as a chypre. It is a white floral, metallic, aldehydic, green peppered spray, perfume. Divine, so sophisticated, so Parisian chic. So Parisian chic. It is really, really, really divine. So this was kind of my late April, early May fragrance to get that floral kick. Feeling my Grace Jones vibes. Every time I smell this perfume, I imagine Grace Jones in the 70s. A warm leatherette in a way. Very much. Rive Gauche always gives me Grace Jones vibes and I adore it. The next one I got my hands on relatively early on in the game this year. And of course, it had to be in this list because I've been indulging in this fragrance, if you may. I managed, luckily enough, to get it end of April, early May. And it's love. The more I use it, the more I love it. Comet, of course, it was going to be on my favorite spring fragrances for the year of 2024 because, well, 2024 is the year in which Comet was released. It is also my first getting to know Comet, right? Because it's brand new. I don't know if this one is going to be in my top list next year, but this year, definitely. Look how much I used it up in only about a month and a half or 2 months that I've had it. I am using this perfume. And I can tell you this, the more you use it, the better it gets. It changes smell as it gets oxygen in there. When you first spray it, when the bottle is fresh, in my opinion, that's not the true smell of Comet. Comet shows its face later on in the game, after you've used it up a little bit, after it's had time to marinate. Oxygen comes into the bottle. That's when it starts getting darker, more green. The orris root kicks in, the musks become more opulent, and you get less of that cherry blossom accord. So it becomes more and more beautiful with time, but you gotta give it time. You need to give this one time. It starts smelling almost a little bit Bel Respiro-esque. You should check out my review of this one. And the heliotrope in here is just divine. Iris and heliotrope. Ooh, so good. It gets darker, more beautiful, more round, more buttery. Comate just keeps getting better and better the more I use it and the older it gets and the more oxygen comes in here. And the juice also turns a little bit darker. This one is a revelation. You start off almost thinking you don't like it at all. And then the more you use it and the more you just love it. And it is a perfume that needs time and oxygen to marinate. This one needs to marinate before you get its true face. When it's a fresh batch, not the best. Nay, no. The vanilla, Nay is asking, does it have vanilla? No. It's the heliotrope that smells of vanilla. Heliotrope has a vanilla accord in it. So it's a very specific type of vanilla. Just gorgeous, really. Obsessed with it. Obsessed. Number 4. Now, number 4 has been with me throughout all of spring. I kind of shove it in between these other 5. Sometimes I even layer it. This is a perfume that I spray lower chest area before I go to bed, and sometimes right after the shower. And then on top of it, I can layer other perfumes, but I don't know why I've been feeling this nostalgic 20s vibe, but in a refreshing way, citrusy, and yet this particular concentration of this perfume goes into a civety accord, slightly more skanky, but divine. And that would be Shalimar, but the eau de cologne of Shalimar. Not the eau de toilette, not the eau de parfum, not the extrait. No, we're talking eau de cologne. Oh, how I love this perfume. It is... Look, it belongs here on this mountain top. You know, you can just like sit there. It lives there, or it can live here in a way. You see this kind of tree here, it's kind of a bizarre tree. It almost looks like cherry blossom, so it kind of fits to Comate. Then we got the green vibe going on because, you know, it's spring. Then we got those blue crystalline skies, very rive gauche. And then we got the mountains that are very Shalimar to me. Oh, divine. I just love it. I mean, you can't go wrong with Shalimar. It is getting harder and harder to find Shalimar in the eau de cologne concentration, which is a pity because after the extrait, this is my favorite. You know, the eau de cologne is just... like, I wish it was more readily available everywhere. It's really getting hard to find. It's a beauty, though. Yeah. Yeah, this is... it's just the right tone, the right music for this year's spring. Oh, my gosh. Really gorgeous, gorgeous. And I'm going to end it on the 5th fragrance, the 5th fragrance being late spring. We're almost at summer. It's almost summer, and I have been bathing in this every day. And these past few shopping days or shopping runs that I've done, like when I went to, this is not on my list this season, but anyway, I just want to show you, like, so, like the day I went to purchase my number 5 Low in the new Pebble bottle, which I also adore. But it didn't make it onto my spring list because it's very late in the game right now for spring. So, but maybe summer. But anyway, so I went to purchase this one to Chanel, right? And I was wearing my 5th fragrance for spring. Here it is, Chanel number 22, the love of my life, okay? I am bathing in this. I have several bottles. I'm just right at the moment, I'm using the batch code 3501 because this one turned really dark with time. It's marinating very well, and the vanilla just turned, and it's turning very dark now, so it is ripe. It's just right. It's deep. It's intense. This is the eau de parfum. So I wore this to go buy the and I had a spritz of Chanel number 5 extrait. So I did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. oh my God, I don't know. I did over 10 sprays of this. And I was emanating a 20s vibe like there was no tomorrow. And I live, this is so perfect for late spring. And then I topped it off with one spray of the Extrait of Chanel No. 5. So, but sometimes I wear No. 22 on its own. And sometimes I just put one spray of the Extrait of No. 5. They work so well together. Every Chanel perfume is made to function well with Chanel No. 5 Extrait. It's just, they all have Chanel No. 5 DNA in them. But anyway, Ernest Beau masterpiece. So I wore this to the Chanel boutique. The lady at the Chanel boutique, the second I came in, she's like, "You're wearing Chanel No. 22, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes, I bathe in it." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't smelled it on a person in a while." And she smiled from ear to ear and she said, "You know, it's just, this is the time of year to wear it. It just fits in so perfectly with the weather, with the mood, with the temperature, with the vibe, with the energy." And I was like, "Yes, 22, it's now." She's like, "Oh my God, it's divine." So she got excited. I said, I added just one little spritz of the Extrait. She's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." So she was excited. I was excited. And then I ended up getting a lot of freebies and samples because we bonded. Oh, the beauty and the magic of perfumes, because when you bond over a fragrance, there's nothing better than when you bond with someone over a perfume. It just brings people together, especially it's like an IYKYK moment, like, "Oh, I got you. Okay, you know, I know you know your stuff. I know you know your Chanel stuff." And then I'm like, "Yes, I do." And so a beautiful bonding experience. Try it out sometime. Wear Chanel No. 22 when you go to a Chanel beauty boutique. They're going to notice, because this is one of those Chanel perfumes that really lingers in the air. They're not weak. They're not a waterlet that just like on and off and nobody smells it on you later. No, this thing sticks. Okay. And Pao in the chat says, "Yes, I've had that happen." There you go. Oh, thank you, Grace Chen. Grace says, "Lovely background." Thank you. Look at this beautiful little, very Heidi, isn't it? Look at the little river. Almost Bob Ross, but not really. This could be a little bit Bob Rossish, but not the sky. He would have never painted a sky like that. But he would paint the river. He would do this with the quick bubbles goes Bob Ross. So anyway, oh man, really? I have to now layer it with Shalimar just because. It's just a happiness. What a time traveling potent machine number 22 is. I am literally in the 20s and 30s now. Especially smelling the two together. Shalimar and number 22 together. It is, oh my God. Yes, very Thomas Kincaid, right? Thomas Kincaid and Bob Ross had a bebe, and the bebe was Bubbles. Bebe, Moira Rose. You know, I know I sound cringe, but when I say this, but I'm just so lucky to be alive in a time when this perfume exists, so that I got a chance in my lifetime to experience something so beautiful. Like, humans have made these beautiful, beautiful fragrances, and I'm just so happy to be alive to be able to experience them, because they really embellish my life so much. I cannot tell you how happy perfumes make me, and they just allow me to to smile in the face of all possible complications in life. You know, a good perfume always gets you through the day. Or in this case, a good batch of 5 perfumes get you through the season. There you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed my top 5 perfumes for spring 2024. Florals for spring, how groundbreaking. perfumes for spring, even more groundbreaking. Thank you so much for watching. Thumb up the video if you've enjoyed it. Let me know your favorites for this year's spring. Or if you're watching this video a year from now, what's your new obsession of favorites for spring? Or 10 years from now, if you're still watching, let me know. It's never too late to leave a comment under the video, you know. I read them. I always do, no matter how old the video is. So subscribe, thumb up the video if you've enjoyed it. And until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Bye.